Tonight, we're talking with Jake Hambone Davis again. We're going to hear some of his songs, and we'll also be discussing how the CIA tried to silence the voice of reggae legend Bob Marley. Prepare for a captivating and chilling investigation into the life and near death experience of a musical icon. Tonight on Newsworthy, two words and two question marks.
Hi, this is Ed Locke with USA Mortgage. Buying your first home can be overwhelming, but here are 5 tips to make the process go smoother. Number one, find a lender, me, Ed Locke, that can answer any questions you might have and help you get pre approved. There are multiple options available based on your situation. Number two, work with a real estate agent you can trust. Number three, don't rush the process, take your time, and know that the process could take some time. Number four, consider all the costs. Number five, get a home inspection and review it with your realtor. Keep these tips in mind, budget for yourself, and you'll be that much closer to making your dream of homeownership a reality. So reach out to me at 502-680-0953. NMLS ID 448908, DAS Acquisition Company, LLC, doing business as USA Mortgage, NMLS ID 227262. This is not a commitment to lend. Additional terms and conditions apply. USA Mortgage is an equal housing opportunity.
He's alive! Have you checked the children? Get out!
You have scoured the podcast world and finally found us, Newsworthy with Steve and Jerry, where we delve into all things mysterious, macabre, or out of this world, and decide if they are truly newsworthy. Two words and two question marks.
Happy New Year!
Hello,
2025.
hello, hello.
We made it! 2025! Woo! I'm excited. That's a lot of cheering.
How long is that?
I know, it's pretty long. It's what Jake Davis hears every time.
Encore!
We got a live studio audience today.
Yeah, they're going crazy, man. Y'all are awesome. Y'all are really awesome. Yeah.
Pretty impressive. Guys, welcome back. It's a new year. I'm glad to have Jerry back, Brett's back. We have back in with us Jake Hambone Davis, who's with us. He's taking time out of his busy schedule to be with us. We're excited about that. New Year, how's the holidays treated you guys?
It's been good. It's been good, except for the snowstorm we got.
Absolutely fantastic until this horrendous storm come through.
Been looking at houses in Florida.
Oh, I know a realtor down there. I can set you up. So, as Jerry and Brett alluded to, we're in the middle of Snowmageddon here in Kentucky, so we're all virtual today. It's kind of weird, kind of neat. I like it.
I don't like it, but I will say, just if you hear my kids, I'm sorry.
Well, the folks are quite used to hearing my dogs, so I think it's okay. It'll be fine. I think it'll be fine. Jake, this is a new year. I know you were looking for some new gigs.
Yeah.
Tell us, everybody, just where you're at, where you'd like to travel to, where you'd be willing to travel to, and then I gotta tell y'all a funny story about the holidays.
All right. Well, I am in the central Ohio area. I tend to like to stick around there, but I'll travel to Kentucky and, outer states, pretty much anywhere. I haven't really gotten booked that deep out of state yet, so I haven't had to endure that quite yet, but I'm willing to do it if the pay is good enough. But mainly the local Ohio scene, which I've been in for a few years now, and so anywhere around that area is good for me typically. And I'm a solo one-man blues band. I do my own sound. I bring my own equipment. Everything I do it all myself, and I guarantee and promise it's the best one-man blues experience that I can provide, um, and probably that most people will get to experience for themselves. I said in the last episode, I was this year's second place winner in the Cincinnati Blues Challenge, which that was a great time. And all those guys are actually down in Memphis right now competing in the international blues competition. So I just want to shout out real quick the Gina and Johnny band and Voodoo Child. I hope they do well in Memphis. Go check them out. Those are my Cincinnati Blues Society people, and we all kind of do this thing together. That's what it's really about. At the end of the day is doing this thing together as a community, and the Ohio music community is amazing. It's treated me really good.
Well, that's awesome, dude.
Very nice.
The last time I was in Memphis, I'm not gonna lie, I heard like an AK going off right down the street from my hotel.
Yeah, it's a little rough out
it's
there.
It's a wild west down there in Memphis. Now, Beale Street, right, in Memphis?
Right. Yeah.
That's the big hub. That place is amazing.
I've been there twice. I played there twice. Both times I went, I played, and we'll talk more about that later because that's what one of my tunes I'm going to play tonight is about. So,
perfect.
Looking forward to that.
Guys, I tell you what, I wanted to do something so nice for my in-laws over the holidays. We always go down over the New Year holiday to do Christmas with my wife's parents, Mike and Joni, and they are wonderful, superior people. I'm so happy to be a part of their family and to know them. And we were going to go out to dinner, and I was so excited. I rented a limousine, guys. I was so happy. It cost me $300 to rent the limousine, and it was worth every penny. Unfortunately, however, just to hire the limousine was $300. It didn't even come with a driver. I spent all that money and had nothing to show for it.
Oh.
That was a long setup.
With no return. I've had some bad investments before, but that one, zero return.
I don't like any of you right now. That was a great joke, and you're all just sad you didn't do it.
Well, I hope mine is a little better than that. What do porn stars and truckers have in common?
What?
They both get paid by the load.
Oh my!
He didn't even check it. He's like, I'm just gonna do this one.
Wow!
Oh
Jerry.
man!
Hey, it might not be a good return, but it had a return.
I'm not editing that out. Your grandchildren to hear that one of these days.
Oh man!
But I mean, what's wrong with that one? Truckers, yeah, they get paid by the load.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about the snowstorm. Me and my wife have been trapped in here in this house together, and she's been screaming at me a lot. She screamed at me earlier today. She said, "You haven't listened to a word that I've said all day." And I was taken aback. What a weird way to start a conversation.
I know. Isn't it though?
I'm just saying, it's been a snowstorm, and you got 4 babies in a row. Number 5 probably on the way is what I would guess.
No.
Yeah.
That's not a good guess.
Mm-hmm. I hear you.
While I'm tuning this guitar up, why do fish make good musicians?
Oh,
why is that?
They know their scales.
I like it.
See, our
Good
guest has a better joke than both you jokers.
Jerry's is pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. But he kind of cheated.
He did. That was not what we expected, was it, Brett?
That's
He
not
cheated.
the one I first said I was going to do.
So we did take last week off, our Christmas week off. I appreciate our fans for understanding that Christmas fell on Wednesday, and that's our normal show day, and we all just wanted the day off to relax and recoup. And we got a musical guest here, so we're going to kick off the new year with a great guest. He's going to sing us some great songs. I don't even know what Brett or Jerry's smiling at, but that's an evil sign if I've ever seen one. Brett or Jake, what about a song, man? Let's hear some music.
Well, I guess I'll kick it off with this number right here. It's my only single at the moment, but this year I do plan on releasing an album that is currently the biggest project I got going on. And so, yeah, be on the lookout. This is on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, YouTube. Whatever you listen to music on, you can find it on there under Jake Hambone Davis. It's called I'm Leaving. It goes like this. Going away, gonna leave this town. Ain't got no reason to stick around. I ain't pointing fingers, ain't nobody's fault. Just gotta go shake these blues off. Don't care about the money, it's a low down shame. Ain't know this job I'm working, about to drive this man insane. Lord, I'm leaving. Being this poor make a grown man cry. Wake up thankful to be alive, 'cause the struggle's real every single day. But I keep on pushing, that's the only way. I don't care about them people that steal from me and you. Just care about my freedom, that's the only thing we can do. Lord, I'm leaving. It's a crying shame. I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I'm leaving, baby, yeah. Gonna leave this town. You know I got my things packed. baby, and I hope I get real far, Lord, I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I'm leaving, baby. Gonna leave this town. Got my things packed and they're thrown up in my car. I'm leaving you in this house, baby, and I hope I get real far. Said I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I'm leaving.
Dude, freaking amazing.
Very
Thank
nice.
you.
Let's cheer. I think.
Thank you.
Dude, that was amazing. Brett asked a very good question. Brett, ask this question. Oh, wait, where'd you go?
I can't hear him.
We lost
Brett
his.
went away.
I muted myself just in case the kids were. I was saying how the heck did you get second in any competition?
Absolutely.
That was insane.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Like I play guitar a little bit, but I play like I learned my ABCs compared to you writing like a complete series of New York Times bestsellers. It was phenomenal.
I'm getting there.
That was phenomenal.
One day at a time.
Yeah.
Getting there. Jeez, that's butter smooth, man.
What inspired you to write that song?
I don't know. Well, actually, that was the first song I performed on a podcast. Actually, my good friend and my dad's good friend, Alan Mosley, invited us to go onto his podcast, and I had a whole band with me for that. And I had to write a bunch of songs, and that was just like the song that I liked the most out of all the songs I wrote during that time. And yeah.
Well,
That's amazing.
I felt it was
Nice.
amazing. I could even hear some Clay Davis in there when you were talking about freedoms. You can tell you're Clay's son. And that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah. Well, that's all I care about is my freedoms. Well, my rights, to be free.
Yeah.
Our rights to be free. So,
We have absolutely had the graciousness to be born in the best country that God's ever gave man. That's for sure.
For sure.
yeah.
That's awesome. So, wow. I mean, we were going to talk some stuff about Bob Marley and how a man of, what do you say, peace, a man of joy, a man of hope becomes a threat to the government, in keeping with our show and what we talk about, and conspiracies and big, cryptids and ghosts and stuff of that nature. Why do you guys think that? Oh, let me back up. Let me just give you the background real quick. On December 3rd, 1976, 7 armed men raided the residence of reggae musician Bob Marley in Kingston, Jamaica, 2 days before Marley was to stage a concert in an attempt to quell recent violence. Politicians from across the political spectrum had hoped to capitalize on Marley's support. While Marley remained neutral, many viewed him tactically supporting the Prime Minister, Michael Manley, and his Democratic Socialist People's National Party. Marley and 4 others were shot. Thankfully, they all survived. So, what do you guys feel? I guess there's many questions here. How does that make you feel, knowing that our government was so intertwined? Because a lot of people think that this was partially pushed upon by the CIA, our wonderful 3-letter organization that gets their fingers in most of the mousetraps.
Yeah.
But how do you guys feel about that? That we're out there, I mean, if Jake had a political song, because musicians, I feel let me back up just a second and get my thoughts. So if Taylor Swift said vote for X or vote for Y, I'm not listening to Taylor Swift tell me who to vote for. However, musicians, I believe, very much have a platform. They have an ability to put you into a mood of this or that, and make you more receptive to their message. But why, I guess, is my question, is it worth killing a musician for a political gain? What do you think?
Of course not.
Right, yeah.
Ever.
The easy answer is no. But
why did the government do it? At that time, first of all, Marley was a politically progressive person. He wasn't popular with the old conservative far right wing. And I'm surprised that J. Edgar Hoover hadn't already tried to do it.
Well,
he exemplifies the type of person that Edgar hated. Go ahead.
I think a lot of it has to do with the Jamaican government, though, which I was kind of like talking to my dad before this, just talking about just Bob Marley, trying to, figure out what I was going to talk about, and I think the Jamaican government was behind a lot of that, but in similar ways to what our government was doing. And I even told my dad, I said, I wouldn't be surprised if our government had a hand in motivating some of that, but I'm not sure. I just know from what I know about the topic, it was a very tension type of time in Jamaica between they were getting a new president at that time, I believe, shortly after he was shot, I think. And so there was a whole lot going on. But the other thing I'll say is that and someone who doesn't get talked about is Bob Marley's guitar player, Peter Tosh, who, in my opinion, is like also a king of reggae music. I almost enjoy Peter's music in ways better than Bob's. And he was very raw when he talked about the government and he talked about change, and like he talked about doing it in violent ways, like he was angry at them. But he actually was assassinated. He was robbed, so to speak, but they actually did get him. So I don't know. It was just a weird time there.
Some of the things I read too was it seemed like they kind of expected him to be a martyr. They expected when they killed him that it would spark this huge like riot.
Yeah, revolt.
Do you guys think that? Okay, Jerry is right. Murder is never the answer, and I agree. But what is the motivating factor of people in power to think that it is? Marley, Martin Luther King Jr., all of the cocaine and the HIV that have been, and I know that that's an upcoming show probably. Jerry's looking at me like with salivating at that topic.
No, I'm just thinking the answer's obvious.
on communications. What?
The answer, I think, is obvious as to why. You sent a you sent me a link to a news article yesterday saying that the Republicans have once again uh, introduced legislation that would enact term limits for Congress. It's not going to pass. And I can tell you why. It's never passed in any of the 114 times if someone, every term, every congressional term, someone will introduce it. It's popular. American people want it. It needs to happen. It won't happen. Why? The same answer as the answer to your question. The people in power want to remain in power.
Well,
Right?
see,
Yeah.
here's the thing with
and
that
keep
article.
us
If you read it
oppressed.
all the way through, that article actually doesn't do anything for like 17 years. So
Yeah, I think they have-
in there are dead.
And it won't
like-
pass.
Right. Yeah.
Nothing would happen for 17 years. It won't pass. They're not going to vote themselves out of office.
Right. Yeah. It is exactly what's happening. Yeah. It's you're asking them to vote, give themselves less power, which is not going to happen. It's never going to happen.
Right.
Speaking of less power, how about another powerful song, Jake? What do you got for us, man?
This next tune I'm gonna do is called "Back to Blue Note Alley," and it's about the first time that I went to Beale Street in Memphis, Tennessee, and basically, the first time I ever went there, I was 20 years old, and me and a friend of mine who was my guitar player in my band, his name's Zach Cummins, great guitar player. We decided, we were just like, because our mentor TD had kept telling us, you need to go to Memphis because you think you're good, wait till you go to Memphis because that's where the real stuff is at. And we were like, well, all right. We took that as like a challenge, so we were like, okay. And we plotted it out, got off work, and we went. And when we got there, we drove from Kentucky, got there, and we got checked in our hotel. We stayed in this crappy, terrible, rundown, like the cheapest motel we could find. Probably we're lucky we didn't bring bed bugs back or something. Like it was just that bad. It was horrible. But either way, we were there, and the sun was setting, and they block off Beale Street completely. They have like police barricades, and they check IDs to get onto Beale Street. And we're standing there, and we're just looking at each other, and we see them scanning IDs, and of course we're underage, and we're just like, bro, like, man, like, we're not going to be able to get in here. And we were like, we just drove all this way and we're going to not be able to get on here. And so we literally go and I'm like, let's at least try. And we get in the line and like, they scanned my ID, but then they were just like, and handed it back to me. And I was like, really? And then I walked through, and then they scanned Zach's ID, and like they caught his flash though, and they were like, "Oh, sorry, bud." And I was like, "He's with me though." And they were like, "He can't come in." And I was like, "Well," and then so I went back out with him, and we're just standing there, and we're like, "Dang, dude!" Like, and I see this old cop and his like partner like off to the side, and this was an older dude, and I was like, let's go ask them. And so we go over and we tell them the whole story. Like, we just drove from Kentucky, yada, yada. And he looks at us and he looks at his partner. He's like, let me see your IDs. I just want to make sure you're telling the truth, that you drove from Kentucky. And like, he checked our IDs. What he's looking at them. He looks at his partner. He looks around. He goes, give him a wristband. And we had the 21 and up like wristband. We got in, man. We got, because we explained, we're like, dude, we're not here to drink. We came here to experience Beale Street, the music. That's why we came. And he let us in, and
That is awesome.
we ended up meeting this gentleman named Black Smoke, the bluesologist, and he's a one-man band himself. and he's the last living street performer left on Beale Street. They have really gotten strict and kind of crazy with their rules, and it's just changed a lot down there. The culture has changed, but he is the last one, and he's the guy. When we found his booth that night, we made sure we found him because he had this sign on there and it was super cryptic. I can't remember exactly what it said, but it was like geared towards youth playing music. I was like, this guy might let us play. And sure enough, we found him, and he's an old man now, but he still is out there. If you're in Memphis and you ever go to Beale Street, he's out there still playing music.
That's awesome.
And but he let us play. He was like, come back tomorrow, and I'll bring your stuff. I'll let you have my spot. And we played for 4 hours in the Memphis heat on Blue Note Alley, and that's what this here song is about. And I dedicate it to Mr. Black Smoke, the bluesologist, every time. He's the reason why I'm the one-man band. He's the OG original. Going back to Tennessee. Going back to Tennessee. Gonna make it back to Memphis, back to the Blue Note Alley. I'm gonna see that friend of mine. Gonna see that friend of mine. I ain't seen that friend in such a long time. They say he ain't no joke. Yeah, they say he ain't no joke. He's a one-man band and they call him Black Smoke. I'm going back to Tennessee. ease my troubled mind at the Blue Note Alley. Bring it home. Gonna ease my troubled mind. Gonna ease my troubled mind. Gonna ease my troubled mind at the Blue Note Alley. Woo! Thank you. Yeah.
What kind of stamina does it take for a musician to do an entire show only being one person?
I'll tell you one thing. It takes a lot. Because you got to think, not only am I doing the show, but I'm lugging in the heavy gear, setting it up, getting out all the cords, setting those, plugging in everything, checking the sound. And then at the very end of the show, I got to break it all down and take it back to my car. So, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Awesome, dude.
When you go to gigs, do you usually go by yourself, or do you have somebody that usually goes with you? Or
I go by myself typically.
Man.
Yeah. I have good friends though that follow me around. They help me a lot. They'll help me lug in my stuff, and I lost one of them though last year. Unfortunately, passed away. But it's good to have those people.
Oh, it's definitely good to have a circle of friends and a circle of people that you love and trust and will
Yeah.
always be there for you regardless. That's there's no words to there's no words to that I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Like it to have that support system, there are no words for it.
Yeah.
There, we got it out.
But yeah.
Well, that's awesome, man. I'm like Brett. I'm like, how does this guy finish second? Now, your wife's also a musician, is she not?
Yeah, she's a musician as well.
That's awesome.
We have a band together. Our band is called Foxfire. She has some music as well. I believe that's out there on Spotify. I believe it's under Ashley Robinson. But yeah, we've actually been working on some music too, recording some new stuff, and hopefully we'll get that released as well.
Dude, that's freaking awesome. I told you before the show, and I mean it. I'm not afraid to say it during the show. Is I believe that you have the talent to do great and wonderful things in this world.
Yeah.
I mean that. I think it's. I can listen to you play all day.
We actually, me and her both, we use our talents for those reasons, We actually have a benefit coming up in January with our church group, and we're doing a whole worship night, me and her leading that, and it's for the homeless. They have nowhere to go right now, and so this other church in the community, they bring them in for the winter and help them out, feed them and stuff. And so we're going to go and we're going to play some music for them.
Dude, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And it can't be understated what an undertaking that church is doing. just to bring one person into your, a shelter, you have to feed them, you have to bathe them, clothe them, give them,
Right.
To bring multiple people.
Yeah.
That's not only a true act of hope and heroism. It's also very expensive.
Yeah. Well,
It really is.
it
So,
is. But that's
kudos to
completely what this ministry is about, and that's why I love it.
That's awesome. So I know we want to get back here and talk a little bit more about Bob Marley, but
Yeah.
I just found out something amazing. I found out the difference between Iron Man and Aluminum Foil Man.
What's that?
Iron Man stops the bad guys, but Aluminum Man only foils their plans.
You should have had that joke at the begining.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's much better.
Yeah, that one's way better. You redeemed yourself.
Yep.
Wow. Oh, jeez. Jerry, what do you think about Bob Marley, and what do you think the government had to, in the grand scheme of things, overall, did they hurt or help their cause by trying to kill Bob Marley?
I don't know of an instance when the government has ever helped their cause by lying, doing anything deceptive, illegal, any of that. I don't care if it's something as simple as denying UFOs in Area 51. I don't know of a single instance when the government has helped themselves with their deception. They're lying. They're any of it. So I think it's very misguided. But I also think, and there's evidence that mentality is still alive and well today. There was, I forget exactly what it was. You sent me a link to an article a few months ago, and it was about some UFO potential sighting in Canada at the United States-Canada border. And there was, when it got released, it was a chain of emails that had been sent through the military. And their first default response was lie and deny all of it. And that just, I mean, it was indicative to me of this is the government's go-to on almost everything. Let's just deny it, say it didn't happen, and hopefully that will fly. I don't know why they do it, but it seems to be what they do without fail.
I think they do it because they think we're idiots. They think that we can't handle, as Jack Nicholson put in A Few Good Men, we can't handle the truth. I don't agree with that, but I think that's what they believe.
And they've been getting away with it for so long. I mean, they don't really have any consequence,
I mean, they get away with it from the sense that no one goes to jail, but they do get found out. They do get proven to be lies. So it looks like they would learn from their past mistakes, I would think, but that's not happening.
Do you think at the time that it gets found out, like it's kind of already out of the news cycle, and the mainstream media is not really reporting on it because it's already been shut down? It's kind of taboo. It's a conspiracy.
Well, I think that's part of it, Brett. The other part of it is the information that is the internet community. Back in the 50s when Roswell happened, back in the 60s, 70s, even in the early 80s, there was no way for hundreds of thousands of millions of people to communicate instantly with other people.
Right.
Now we have the internet. And now you can't do the same old lies that you used to be able to do. Oh, it was a weather balloon, and here's some pieces of foil to prove it. You can't do that now without 770 million fact checkers immediately pointing out, "Hey, you're full of crap." That's not the case.
Yeah,
that's the crazy. Jake, if you had one word for an up-and-coming and aspiring artist, what would it be? What would be your advice to Jake, who is just now getting ready to start picking up that first guitar?
Practice. Yep. That's it. Practice.
Or an aspiring artist who just picked up their first mandolin.
Practice. Even if it's just 5 to 10 minutes, you'd be amazed what that 5 to 10 minutes a day can do. Like I'm telling you, it doesn't take long for the brain to develop muscle memory, and it's mainly building up the endurance and calluses, and that does hurt and it is painful, but if you just keep doing it, just like anything, it doesn't have to be music. If you play basketball, if you paint, or if you just work your job, your craft, whatever your craft is, just practice. Practice that craft over and over and over for hours and hours and hours.
So, see, Jerry, if you just continue to practice trying to be beautiful, at some point you might actually be beautiful.
We've already determined that's not going to happen. Talking about practice, it reminded me of the old sayings that we've heard so much about Michael Jordan, the GOAT. If there ever was a GOAT, I don't buy into this LeBron James. LeBron James is a great basketball player. He's not the GOAT. He's never going to surpass Michael Jordan. But Michael Jordan was known for having the greatest work ethic on his team. Several times, different members of the Chicago Bulls, maybe someone new that got traded to the team, talked about the fact that they would attempt to beat him to practice. And it was like impossible. It didn't matter what time they showed up. He was already there, always already there. First one there, last one to leave. Several times in different interviews, they would ask him why. And he was like, look, here's the deal. I'm smart enough to know I've got pretty good talent, but there's a lot of people out there with talent as good or better than me. The difference is I'm willing to work harder. I'm willing to do what you just said in practice. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. It's not just the key to music. It's the key to everything.
Yeah.
Working your craft.
That old saying, I got Josh and Brett, my son Josh and Brett here used to play baseball together, and I got my son Josh a T-shirt once and I saw a sports star have it, and it made so much sense. It says that hard work will always beat talent when talent refuses to work hard. Always.
Very true.
Yeah.
So I think that's very accurate.
Yeah.
Brett was a pretty good baseball player back in the day.
So was Josh.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Josh was awesome. Yeah.
Brett, I'm pretty sure that beard would slow you down running bases now.
I don't know. There's a lot of baseball players with beards, man. I don't know.
You remember a couple of weeks ago, Brett, I was telling you about some of the great baseball players we lost in 2024. Pete Rose.
Yeah, Pete Rose is a big one,
yeah.
Ricky Henderson.
Ricky Henderson. That was the one I forgot to tell you.
Yeah.
We lost him last year. Speaking of running bases.
The greatest of all time.
Yeah, that guy could do it.
Isn't that crazy? Now, anybody who doesn't know, if we have young people listening to the podcast who doesn't know what a Ricky Henderson is, think of Ricky Henderson as this. He was a normal-sized dude from the hips up. Normal-sized guy. From the hips down, I'm pretty sure he had the legs of like a lion. His thighs alone had to be as big around as his waist. This man had a 0 to 60 time somewhere around less than 3 seconds. The dude was built to steal bases. I've never seen anybody start from 0, take 4 steps, and be on the next base. Just lightning fast. Am I wrong,
Yep.
Gary?
Oh, absolutely not. One thing he was famous for once when he was on first base, the third baseman looked over at him and he held up 2 fingers. And the third baseman was giving an interview after the game, and he said he thought Ricky was flashing him the peace sign. Ricky stole second base, and Ricky stole on the next pitch. Ricky stole second base. On the second pitch after that, he stole third base. The third baseman asked him, "Why were you showing me the peace sign?" Ricky said, "No, I was telling you in two more pitches, I was going to be where you are."
Isn't it funny how the greatest sometimes have that? Like, the greatest fall into 2 categories. They are like Jake Davis, humble and full of hope for other people, or they are the Ricky Hendersons and the Michael Jordans, who are full of smack talk and trash talk.
You left out Larry
because
Bird.
they know they can do it.
Well,
Yeah, you left Larry Bird out of that conversation.
I did intentionally because he was the greatest.
He
trash
was.
talker by
He
any
was.
stretch of anybody's imagination.
Yep.
What was you gonna say, Jake?
I was just gonna say it happens in the music business too. Like there's a lot of it's very competitive, which is something I don't necessarily like. Like I don't really see it as a competition. Like we're all playing music, you know. But you know, there are people, and you know, tying back into Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, his guitar player I was telling you about, who was competing with Bob to sell records at the time. They they were both huge. They were both stars, but they were competing against each other. And when Bob died, Peter Tosh's own, and they were childhood best friends. Like that, he was an original Whaler, and the only thing he could say when Bob died was something along the lines of like, "Well, that's just another reggae star that we're not going to have to compete with."
Isn't that
You know,
crazy?
and
Yeah,
that's
it's
just so
nuts.
cold, man. And I think that's something that really, that kind of attitude really tarnished his reputation because, in my opinion, he is equal to Bob in greatness. He's a great songwriter, fantastic musician, and does not get the credit I think he deserves. But he was also just cold, man. And there's a lot of people like that in the music business. That Jerry Lee Lewis was like that. He threatened once to run Liberace over and said something similar, like that'd be one less piano playing SOB that you know, like, but it, you know,
But
that's
see
funny,
that,
man.
and I agree with you, Jake. When you get to a level of who's the biggest in the world right now selling albums? Stray Kids, maybe
I don't
Taylor
know.
Swift.
Oh, Taylor Swift, without a doubt.
Yeah.
What good could she do for somebody who is up and coming by having her say, "Hey, I want you to come do one song at one of my concerts. Just do song, and then we'll have our regular opener." How much ability do you have to lift somebody up when you become big in music, as opposed to
Well,
like you're talking about try to squash somebody down with competition when it's all about here's what I'm trying to say. In music especially, there's enough room for everyone to sell albums because, especially for me, music is a mood.
yeah,
Do I want to listen to the blues today, or do I want to listen to country? Do I want to
yeah,
listen to country, or am I wanting to jam out to say Eminem? So there's room there to sell music to many different genres to the same person.
yeah.
You know, and I just, when you get big, Jake, you just keep thinking about the little man.
Oh well, yeah.
Because I know that's going to happen one day.
That's important to me, and I don't think that. I mean, there's a lot of great examples out there. I think of people that are good at doing that, doing the sharing and the community thing. But then there's other people that just are terrible at it.
Yeah.
They're all
Kinda
about
like-
themselves,
Yeah.
you know. And,
Yeah, I think when it becomes more about the money or the success, the fame, and less about the art that you're doing, like whatever it is. Because I just think of movies, and that's like the first thing that comes to my head. Movies suck right now because
Yeah.
they're just trying to make a quick buck. It's like
yeah,
they're just trying to, Disney's putting all these live action movies out and have no original thought. They're just wanting to, they know people are going to go see it just because of
yeah.
the nostalgia. But yeah, I think that's when it starts to. But yeah, you were right. Taylor Swift is the most successful artist right now with over 26.1 billion streams on Spotify.
I think The Weeknd's probably up there too. He's pretty. He's got to be like number 2 on Spotify.
Taylor Swift almost has as much Spotify hits as we do.
Is it, well, at some point, we'll cede that to her because she keeps putting out new music. She's cute, whatever. So here's the thing. I went to see a movie in the theater the other day, and it's a movie that has gotten. I'm going to ask you all guys if you've seen it. If you have, great. If you haven't, that's okay. I'm going to try to save you $5. I guess it's like $12 now for a theater. Nosferatu. Who has seen the movie yet?
I heard it was good.
See, it's either really good or really bad. And my opinion is that movie was the cinematography. Is that the right words?
The cinematography.
Thank you. Yes, was excellent. It was really old school. It looked good, but the movie itself put my wife to sleep. Literally in the theater. Very slow movie. Very slow movie. And the funny thing was, right as we were leaving the theater, my son Nick sent me a text and said, "Hey, that's the best movie ever." And I'm like, "Ew."
Isn't that a horror movie?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be.
Man, I tell you what, that is exactly what the new Star Wars movies did to me. I think I saw The Last Jedi, I think like twice, or even the first one, I might have saw it twice. I think every time I saw it, I fell asleep.
Yeah.
Every single time I saw it, at some point I fell asleep.
They're awful.
Second one of the new trilogy, the Ryan Johnson directed.
Yeah, Last Jedi. Oh,
That's so bad.
Was the worst movie. Not even including Star Wars, was the worst movie I believe
Of
I've
all
ever saw.
time.
so I think that was the beginning of the end. But I will say, I think that Rise of Skywalker is way worse.
Yeah, that one was equally bad. I think they were just both terrible.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
give that one a little bit of love, only because he's trying to fix so many things broken.
It's so bad. I think that it was. I don't know. Rise of Skywalker is just terrible for me.
So anyway, Jake, man, I looked up on Spotify. You are there. Look up Jake Hambone Davis on Spotify. You can find his song "I'm Leaving." It's marvelous. He's got a new album coming out this year. Pinky Promise.
Hopefully,
right?
yeah. I'm going to work very hard to make that happen. Hopefully, even sooner.
As soon as it's done,
as
you
soon
let us
as
know. We'll get you
possible.
back on the show.
All right, that sounds good.
Yeah, keep us updated on gigs too if you have any.
Yeah.
We can maybe shout them out.
Happy to pass it along. We have a huge audience in Ohio. We want to get them out and get your crowd filled up. If you are a person who owns a bar, a music event, a place where you would like to hear some of the best blues music you could possibly ever hear, where can they find you to book a gig, Jake?
Search me on Facebook, Jake Hambone Davis. I have a business page there. I also have a website. There's a link on there with my website. That's usually the best way to get a hold of me is just go to my Facebook page, shoot me a message, and we'll talk more about those details then, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. If you for some reason you can't find Jake, find us on Facebook, put a comment on this. We will get your information to Jake and make sure that you guys connect. This guy, you want him in your venue.
Not even venues. I'll do private parties. Like I'll play just about anywhere. If people are able to meet my quotes and stuff,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Jake, finish us off with a great song, man.
All right. This last song I'm gonna do. I wrote this back in 2020. That was a very weird time, but I still feel like we're in some weird times. So it's still relatable, I feel like, to this day. And it's called Simulation Blues. It goes like this. I woke up this morning, Lord, you know I felt so sad. You know I'm living in a simulation, but the simulation went bad. And ever since I was a child, you know the blues they follow me. Ever since I was a child, you know the blues they follow me. Can't shake 'em, I can't break 'em. You know the blues won't let me be. And it ain't just me now. No, the blues they follow you. I said it ain't just me now. No, the blues they follow you. Yeah, it do. Can't shake 'em, I can't break 'em. Lord, that's what the blues will do. Woke up this morning, Lord, you know I felt so sad. I woke up this morning, yes I did. And Lord, you know I felt so sad. I'm a living in a simulation. I'm a living in a simulation. Say I'm living in a simulation, but the simulation went bad. Yeah, went bad. Yes, it did. Went bad. Yeah, now.
Jake freaking Hambone Davis.
Thank you, ladies and
Fantastic.
gentlemen, and thank you, Steve and Jerry.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Awesome
That was
job.
awesome.
Yeah, thank you. And hopefully the songs I played tonight will be
What a
on
great-
the next album. Sorry, I
Hopefully
didn't mean
so.
to.
No, you're
interrupt
good.
you.
No, I hope you're right, man. I can't wait. I think all of them should be on your album.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What a great conversation. But we're not done yet. Stick around through these very important ads for an awesome bonus story. JT's Way is a Christ-centered, nonprofit organization with a call to help hurting families during the loss of a child. At JT's Way, they assist families grieving from the loss of a child through assistance with things like funeral expenses, emotional support, guidance through the grief process, and help in their healing journey. While paying for funeral expenses, they help navigate picking a funeral home, burial plot, or cremation services, and provide families with grief counseling resources. JT was 17 years old when he died unexpectedly in an automobile accident. He was a senior in high school and a student in the automotive class. JT loved cars and music, and he took his role of friend very seriously and made sure to make friends wherever he went. Their mission at JT's Way is to minister to families by financially assisting and connecting them with their local resources. These resources will assist in the financial and emotional burden of bearing a child. Their aim is to aid in the healing process for parents and families, and these resources include grief counseling and parent-sibling groups. The outside world doesn't stop, but we can tell you from experience that a parent's world certainly does. In a time of desperate hopelessness, JT's Way provides hope. If you want to help support JT's Way in their mission, please reach out to them at www.jtsway.com. JT would often say, "Let me challenge you to make a friend, be a friend, and most importantly, bring a friend to the loving arms of Jesus Christ."
Hi, this is Ed Locke with USA Mortgage. Buying your first home can be overwhelming, but here are 5 tips to make the process go smoother. Number 1, find a lender, me, Ed Locke, that can answer any questions you might have and help you get pre-approved. There are multiple options available based on your situation. Number 2, work with a real estate agent you can trust. Number 3, don't rush the process. Take your time and know that the process could take some time. Number 4, consider all the costs. Number 5, get a home inspection and review it with your realtor. Keep these tips in mind, budget for yourself, and you'll be that much closer to making your dream of homeownership a reality. So reach out to me at 502-680-0953. NMLS ID 448908, DAS Acquisition Company, LLC, doing business as USA Mortgage, NMLS ID 227262. This is not a commitment to lend. Additional terms and conditions apply. USA Mortgage is an equal housing opportunity.
If you would like to share suggestions for future episodes, or simply tell us how much you love or hate us, reach out to us via email at newsworthywithsteveandjerry@gmail.com or text us at area code 540-709-1318. And now, back to the story.
Tonight, gentlemen, we're going to talk about Gwyridge Castle. It is in Abergele, Wales. I hope I said that right. If not, our English friends will tell me all about it. Wales is known as the land of castles, thanks to the fact it has more castles per square mile than any other country in Europe. 427 of them, in fact. Many date back to the Middle Ages and are riddled with phantoms, including the capital city's fortress in Cardiff Castle. Caerphilly Castle is the cursed Craig y Nos Castle. Ooh, those are hard words to say. But the most eerie of all is the Gwyridge Castle, thanks to its extensive size and its forlorn appearance. Although one of the younger of Wales' younger fortresses, it only dates back 200 years. It has been used as the site for reenactments and filming locations thanks to its imposing size. The castle has fallen into disrepair, however, with its once regal marble staircase being reclaimed by land. Cold, empty rooms with peeling plaster and exposed entrances to once hidden passageways. Money earned from filming is going toward its preservation, but no amount of cash can rid the estate of its ghost. The site is rumored to be haunted by the Countess Winifred, who died there in 1924. The ghost of a former servant girl who supposedly died while falling off a horse, or a lady in red or white, and numerous others. Many visitors there have reported a strange feeling of being watched, overall bad vibes, and hearing footsteps. And Jerry, if you can't see the light,
Be the light.
great